So guys, this week is probably a really exciting week because starting today, even though it's actually Saturday in Japan, Jump Fiesta 23 is going to start in a few hours. Now, if you're like me and living on the East Coast in the States, United States, it starts around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, there is a post that Shonen Leaks has posted to do time conversion. There is the Jump Neo stage, which is going to be, here will be Saturday, December 17th. In Japan, it will be Sunday, December 18th. Ron Hashi, which is created by Akira Mano, obviously she does Katekyo Hitman REBORN, is going to be happening on the 18th or the 17th, depending on where you live. Again, due to time conversion. And I was thinking, I did make a post on Twitter earlier today, aka like 2 a.m. in the morning, on whether I should live stream it, because I do remember them saying that Akira Mano is going to be there. If that is truly correct, she's going to be there, as well as Neko, who is best known for her role as playing Reborn in both the anime, video games, and stage play, okay? They're going to be there, and I believe there was a leak, or it's an actual confirmation, that Ron Hashi is getting an anime, is greenlit to get an anime, right? So, we don't know specifically why Neko is going to be there. If it means she's going to voice a character or she's just there to support the series. And we get to actually see Akira Mano in the flesh, or like probably some mangaka, she appears but she's hiding her face behind a mask. So I think this is going to be the first time we've ever seen her in public in many years, because we only have one picture circulating of her face online, and we can't be 100% sure that is actually her. Okay, so I may or may not, give me until tomorrow. By the time you see this video and I'm talking and everything, it's after 3 in the afternoon where I'm at, Eastern Standard Time. So give me until tomorrow, Saturday, after my Blue Lock and Spy Family reaction reviews. Spy Family is going to be done with the last episode of season 1, not season 2, season 1, second half of season 1. And the Ron stage will be, the Ron panel will be around like 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday. Okay, and that means it's like 10 a.m. Japan time. Okay, so yeah, I'm still thinking on it, but if I do, I'll definitely let you guys know. I don't usually stream or put up videos that late in the night, but I realized on my channel I said I would put up to like 9 p.m. but I just prefer earlier. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. So I'm still thinking about it a little bit more. And if I do, I will notify you guys on my Twitter account, legends_anime. So that aside, here is chapter 84. By the time I end this year, 2022, we'll be ending on chapter 86 and starting the new year with hopefully chapter 87, okay, of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. So with this chapter, after, 83, how 83 ended off with Lambo and Suna about to be cut down, and his name was introduced into this chapter, Superbi Squalo, okay? We have where our big brother Dino comes to the rescue, okay? And I know a lot of people always asking why Reborn can't join in. Again, remember, his hands are tied. And so Dino is telling Squalo, why are you fighting these kids? If you don't want any problems, stop what you are doing. Of course, Squalo realizes that he can't go against an ally, because Dino is allied to the Vongola. So him starting problems with trying to confront Dino will have a bigger effect on him in the long run, or short run, if you will. So before he leaves, he throws the same smoke bullets that he did to Yamamoto the previous chapter, chapter 83, and use that to distract Dino, and then steals the half rings from Suna, and then he runs away. So the whole reason why Reborn can't interfere into the fight is because Squalo is part of the Vongola family. So it's like a lot of people's hands are tied. So Squalo even mentioned that if allied forces like Dino's family, the Cavallon, if he fights them, that's going to be a problem between the Vongolas and the Cavallon. And if Reborn decides to fight Squalo, it's problems with the Vongola. Mind you, the Vongola, Reborn is part of the Vongola. I'm not saying like he's in the familia, but he's more like associated. He works with them. He works particularly mostly with the Ninth. Okay, so Yamamoto and Gokudera are fine. They are slightly injured and everything, but they're fine. And Suna's relieved to see, they're not deeply injured. But Reborn says, with you two being at the level that you're at, might as well go home. You're not needed. And it's cruel when you think about it. But it's just like the way they got one-handedly smacked around by Squalo in this fight. It wasn't even a fight. This dude just swung his sword one time, and these two were down for the count. So it leaves them feeling very distraught. They're pretty, as Reborn said, they're pretty pissed at their capabilities and their strength, realizing they were going up against someone that was like 10 times stronger than them. Of course, this ain't the end of it. Of course, you all Reborn fans know when it comes to this arc, right? So the police were coming, and we all know when it comes to the mafia and the police, hey, the rightful justice versus the unrightful or the unjust laws and everything. So they had to run away. They found an unused hospital where they were treating Basil. Okay, so he was knocked out. He was injured, but not to the point it was life-threatening. Okay, and Suna is just like, I'm against the Vongola. Aren't the Vongola the enemy? Because remember, at the end of the day, Suna does not want any part of the mafia, but unfortunately, he keeps getting entangled in it because he is the next head. Right after the Night, he is the next head to take over the Vongola family. And he's the last in line, so he literally has no choice. And that's also what Dino tells him, because he's like, you thought Squalo had the real rings, but actually I have them. Come to find out, with the Vongola half rings, they are usually placed somewhere very secretive for 3 years until they're given to the new prospective head of the organization. So in this case, the rings were with Dino, the real rings were with Dino, and the person who sent Basil's not actually part of the Vongola, but he is also like an ally. They work together with the Vongola and everything, so they're in good standing with them. The person that sent Basil gave him fake rings to basically be a scapegoat. He was bait to keep the real rings from being caught by Squalo and then taken to where he needs to. Because remember, they start all the way in Italy. Everything is in Italy because of the mafia, and they travel all the way to Japan. And you come to find out the reason why Squalo and Basil brought their fight from Italy. And that's crazy when you really think about it. They really went from Italy, all the way to Japan, fighting. Like, bro, I hope he caught a separate flight, because when you really think about it, I wonder how crazy that must have been to get from all the way from Italy. How much hours is that on the plane from Italy to Japan? Can somebody please tell me that, if they ever went from Italy to Japan before, or vice versa, or something of that sort? But that's really crazy when you really think about it. But nonetheless, it's really unfortunate and very scary, and it just goes to show how, like, we usually just take it very lightly of Reborn in total. And like, people, this is why it always does irritate me slightly, especially those who bash on the ending of Katekyo, because why was a child like Basil used as a bait for a grown man to hunt him down over several countries to get a pair of rings? And it's not even full rings like this. It's like the ring is cut in half. Parts of it is missing, and just to take them back to wherever he was from. You put a 14, 15-year-old in their life in danger Even if, and the thing is, the person who sent Basil didn't give him the full story. So the whole time that Basil was on the run while still trying to defend himself from Squalo, he believed the rings he was carrying were the real rings. And he could have lost his life. The person who sent Basil, and then it leads into the next page. Okay, so when Suna's going home and they're finding out and everything, once they reveal that, the rings, and the rings are very valuable to the point where it's just like no price can be put on them, and the amount of blood that's on these rings to be passed on to the next successor is, you don't even want to start counting. You don't even want to imagine what people had to go through to get these rings to safety. The amount of people that probably died and sent out to die to get these rings. Because this means the line of the next successor. Once you have this ring, it means that you are now in line to inherit the Vongola. So Suna's hearing all of this, and he's just like, it's getting from bad to worse. You thought the Kyoko arc was bad? No, this whole arc is a whole different ball game. So Suna's going home, and now he has a new set of worries to worry about. He gets home, and then he sees a whole bunch of laundry is lined out. Remember, Suna's dad is back home. He sees the whole house in disarray. The kids are drunk. I think they omitted that from the anime, I believe, if I'm correct. Futa, Ipin, and Lambo were drunk from sake. And then you see his dad just laying on the floor, knocked out from eating enough food for 20 people and drunk off of booze. And then Suna's just like, what the heck? And so the chapter does end where we find out Suna's father's name. Those who know, you didn't know his name, but his name is Imitsu Sawada, right? And they didn't mention, when Basil was still in the unnamed hospital, okay, that the person that sent Basil, literally the answer was Suna's father. Suna's father is associated with the mafia, hence why he's never home. And that's why he lies to Nana, saying that he is a construction worker who works all over the world, is to keep them protected. But at the same time, he kind of dragged his son into this mess. And it makes me go to think that possibly the lineage of the Vongola, in terms of, family tree, is from Imitsu's family, his side of the family. Because of Vongola Primo, if you remember all the way back to Daily Life arc, Suna is directly linked by blood to the first Vongola boss, the Primo. Okay, so more than likely it's from Suna's dad's side of the family. Like, this man is part mafia. He's part Italian and everything down the line. So yeah, like, Imitsu gave Basil probably very vague instructions, thinking again the rings were real, and to bring them to safety, to bring them to Suna. But despite how well trained Basil is, again, he's facing against someone like Squalo, who obviously still outclasses him and everything, putting his life on the line. He put a 14-year-old life on the line to bring these rings to Japan to give them to Suna, and knowing that one, Reborn can't interfere, even Dino can't interfere, because then that will cause a whole lot of internal mess. And it's just, I know this may leave a bad taste on a lot of people concerning Suna's father, because one, he was not there, and he's in and out of Suna's life, barely telling him where he is or communicating with his family and anything. So, like, Imitsu's introduction is really not the best, okay? And that is completely within reason for everybody, including myself, because going back to read this, is like, I know he probably does have the best interest for his family and wanted to protect them, but to keep them in the being unaware and then actually kind of harming children in the process when you were fully capable of doing it yourself, is very irresponsible as the adult, a grown man who has a teenager. He has a teenager for a child. Okay, so we were introduced to Squalo, and he's not the only one. You're not going to see the last of Squall. He's going to make a lot of reappearances, but he's going to be bringing the crew with him coming in the following chapters. And now they have to protect these rings, because now not only Squallow, but several other people are going to be after these rings to take them, because again, now we're going into the succession, or basically to gain the title, but the full inheritance won't happen until all the way past the 10-year arc, which is the inheritance ceremony arc. But this is basically just to say, okay, we now acknowledge you as the future successor of the Vongola. So now Suna has to worry about protecting these rings in the meantime. On top of that, we have our Gokodera and Yamamoto, who feels completely helpless, is going to, there's going to be a training arc, like a mini training arc that's going to happen, because if they're going to be facing against someone like of Squallow's caliber, they have no choice but to get stronger. Like I said, Kyoko arc is nothing compared to these new people that Suna and the rest of the crew are going to be facing against. Okay, they're stronger. Okay, you thought Kyoko arc with Mukuro, and Mukuro's no joke anyway, by the way. Chen, Chikusa, and the others were bad. These guys are more vicious, and they're technically allies to the Vongola, but you know, within the mafia, you know, even your most allies can, you know, turn their back on you for the sake of power and money and success. Okay, so guys, do tell me your thoughts on chapter 84 of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. What do you think of Imatsu's introduction? Even those who go back to reread it, how do you feel the first time when you met Suna's father? What were your thoughts on him? I would love to read that. For those who are first-time readers or they're anime watchers, how do you feel about the episode and the manga chapter of it? Also, who is going to watch Jump Festa? Because I do know there are several series, obviously Jujutsu, obviously Ron-Kama no Hashi. There is no Katekyo or anything, but you know, Neko and Akira Mono are going to be there, so don't have your hopes up, but you know, just be there to hear Kuroko no Basuke, Bleach, Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, Hell's Paradise, a lot of stuff starting today if you live Eastern Standard Time. If it's not another time, please again check on that post. I believe I will put the link in the description box so you guys can click and see the time conversion chart from the time it starts in Japan and see what time it is PST time and Eastern Standard Time. And if you live outside of those times, you can still try to convert so you can see what time to start. Also, I'm going to put the link to the official video, Shonen Jump's official YouTube channel, because they're going to show both the Neo stage and then the next stage, I believe. I forgot what it was called. The Super stage. So there's the Neo stage and the Super stage. So I'm going to put down the link for their actual YouTube page so you guys can go and put on the notification bell for the upcoming videos live stream, so you guys can watch later tonight or tomorrow or even Sunday. Okay, and the links will be in the description box, so check the description box. And I'm Kimi-chan of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye.